I constantly hear from people that they struggle to write longer pieces of music. So right around when he joined our composing competition as a guest judge, Seycara released Forever an Enigma, an 8.5-minute piece. Most of my students would kill to write a piece over 2 minutes, let alone 8.5. So how did Seycara do it? It's a beautiful track, and of course, worth listening to the whole thing. Today, I want to talk about just one specific moment. It's right around the 2-minute mark, where most people fail to go beyond, and is an absolutely beautiful transition between the first two major sections of the work. It all comes down to setting up expectations and defying them. A theme has been humming along, we have a glorious climax, and are settling back down, and just when you think you're gonna land back on the one chord, or what feels like home, you end up somewhere completely different instead. So first of all, what do we expect and why do we expect it? The three main ingredients here are melody, harmony, and rhythm, or in this case, tempo. For the melody, the last two notes are D to E, and it's very natural to expect C to come next. For the harmony, the A theme ends with this long, drawn-out 5 chord, full of suspense. It's G13, which means there's a restless tritone in there. The 13 creates dissonance between the 5th and 7th of the chord. There's a move from 9 to flat 9, which is super spicy. And there's even this little sus4 to 3 motion in an inner voice. Flat 9, 13, sus4, we're just milking the tension for everything it's got. There is nothing more in the world you could possibly want to relieve this tension than to finally land back home on a C major chord. Or even C6 feels like a nice choice in the style. And on that topic of milking the suspense, making the squeeze become almost unbearable, the whole thing slows down to a dramatic ritardando. Not only is he making you really want the chord to resolve, he's making you wait for it. It's exactly because our desire for resolution is so strong, how much we need to get that C major chord so we can finally relax, that what he does next is so enchanting. There are actually a few things there that we did expect. It's not like we suddenly cut to the middle of a Metallica song or something.
I would say definitely have a contrasting but related theme in mind. Like, how is this gonna grow out of that first idea? You don't want it to be so similar that it's a copy, and you don't want it to be so different. You're like, this is a different genre of music.
For example, we were expecting a landing point, a feeling of resolution, and we did get one. Just not the one we thought we would get. The dynamics, or level of volume and intensity, feel exactly right for what we thought would come too. The instrument colors, like strings and winds, are still part of the group we've been hearing.
It needs to speak towards the main ideas you want to communicate with this piece. So similar enough, but then not too different.
Even the last note of the melody is still in the violins, even though it went to an A instead of the expected C. But obviously what's more interesting is what we did not expect, which is mostly in the harmony. It's not only the wrong chord, what the hell even is this chord? F, B, E, A, G. It's some sort of fourths voicing. It's very Joe Hisaishi-esque.
It's essentially it's an F major 7 with a flat 5. So F, A natural, B natural, E. Joe Hisashi uses this kind of flat 5 7th chord all the time. When I had that in mind, I knew I wanted to go into a minor key, and I wanted the atmosphere to be more kind of uncertain, ambiguous, than the kind of warm, romantic sounds of the first section. So that's basically all I had for it.
The point that I can't make strongly enough is that none of this would work without the very recognizable and standard setup of the 5 chord. People are constantly trying to be fresh and new and interesting, just moving off into new ideas before establishing their existing ones. But you have to have balance. I'll say this in every video if I have to. You can't break people's expectations if they aren't expecting anything to begin with. So use those cliche progressions, the standard stock chord formulas, all the things you've heard a million times to your advantage. It's the grammar of music. It's how we as listeners understand what you're trying to say. Just like how you can't just shuffle the words of this video into random order and have it make any sense. You have to use the expected patterns and syntax to set up what you want to happen next. How does this relate to the point I made at the very beginning about writing longer pieces? Well, by landing into the B section in this fresh and unexpected way, music feels like it has suddenly embarked on a journey. Now we as listeners want to know what's going to happen next, where this is going to go, how this dramatic contrast is going to be resolved. It's like Frodo and Sam have fully left the Shire at this point, and we want to know what happens to them next. By setting us up to really want the 1 chord, and then dropping us in a completely foreign land, he sets the stage for the piece to be 4 times longer than what we've heard so far. And we realize that our entire journey as a listener has just begun. Thanks, Yuang, for chatting with me about Forever an Enigma, and bravo for such a beautiful piece. Of course, writing longer pieces has a lot to do with form on a larger scale, but there are also things you can do to make even an 8-bar idea longer, more elaborate, and more substantial. To learn how to do that, starting with just a basic theme, check out this video here, where I explain how repeating, extending, and pausing are all effective strategies you can use to write longer music. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.